I'm Wes Malik, and this is episode 1 of the Radio Masterclass. Starting on World Radio Day, which was yesterday, February 13th, we address your questions. And the most common question I get from viewers and listeners like you is, how do we become RJs? And that's the question we're going to address Masterclass. If you don't know who I am, I'm Wes Malik, and let me give you a quick introduction, a brief introduction of who I am. I've been in the radio industry for 20 years. I work with 2 FM channels in Pakistan, FM 101 and City FM 89 for the past almost 15 years now. I've worked with 3 TV channels, and I've had my own television show on TV. I also work with PTV News, and I've also represented Pakistan on CNN doing 5 world reports. So I have not studied broadcasting anywhere, and I have learned as I have, progressed in my career along the way by reading and by getting coaching from other radio professionals internationally, and here we are today. So let's address the first question that I get. The question is, how do we get into radio? First of all, this is going to be a series of episodes, and it's going to address people who are already in the broadcasting industry and want to enter the broadcasting industry as well. So let's address the first question. What are the skills required to enter the radio or the broadcasting field? And how do we get in? Well, first of all, the ability to speak would be good, but all kidding aside, we all can speak. There's 200 million people in Pakistan who can speak. It's what differentiates your speaking from others, which will get you hired in the broadcasting industry. Speaking clearly, efficiently, and effectively are the skills that you need to obtain. How do you obtain those skills? Well, either you can learn them from coaching or ask somebody to coach you, or there might be a program that you could attend, or you could actually practice yourself. And the best advice I have received to date from other voice artists and from radio professionals and broadcast professionals is read out loud. And whenever I give this advice to anyone, no one takes it. No one takes this advice. Why? Maybe you're shy. I don't know. Radio broadcasting is a very unique form of communication with people. And the way it's unique is that you're not talking to anyone, but you're talking to many people simultaneously. Now, that is a very unique way of speaking because we are used to having a dialogue and a conversation with someone, and thus we react to someone's body language and their words. In radio, you are devoid of that, so you must present and speak and communicate effectively and efficiently with an audience without seeing them, without gauging their reaction, without looking at them, without having any verbal feedback along with them. Now, it's important to read out loud. Okay, take a book, take a newspaper, take a piece of copy, anything you can, read it out loud. That way, you will have learned the skill or the ability to actually project your voice, and you'll be able to hear what you sound like as well. And that is the practice that makes people perfect. Not to mention, it's very important that that you be able to speak clearly and effectively. People think that radio is all about being hyperactive and being very exciting. Of course it is, but you need to communicate. That first skill is very, very important. Moving on, how do we get into the broadcasting industry? The broadcasting industry is now, fortunately for you, very large in Pakistan. And people think that, being in radio, the only job available is being an RJ or a talk show host or somebody who plays music, a DJ on radio. That's not the only job available. There are people in IT, in technical, in HR, in administration, in marketing, in finance, in sales, in programming, in production. All these job opportunities are available to you. How do you get these jobs? Well, having an education in the field of broadcasting would be the ultimate choice, of course, for a potential employer, but maybe you didn't go through broadcasting school. Are there broadcasting schools in Pakistan? Well, some universities have different programs in their mass media programs and journalism programs that do teach this, and they've been teaching it for many, many decades. It's something that you could opt for, but if you haven't had the opportunity to do that, really a barrier to you entering the broadcast industry. You can still enter the broadcast industry in many fields, but let's talk about becoming an RJ. How do you become an RJ? Well, if you're not already an RJ or a DJ or a radio presenter, you'll have to apply somewhere. Well, how do you apply somewhere? It's very easy. Get the contact information from their websites. There must be somebody in the programming department, or maybe the CEO or the managing director, or somebody who hires DJs. Find that person's contact information. Basically, email address. You don't want to start calling people and say, hey, hire me. That's not the way to go about things. You'll need several tools in order to apply as an RJ. And two of those tools are, number one, a CV, a resume. And on your resume, you should list that you are aspiring to become an RJ and this is what you want to do. Or you're already an RJ and this is where your career will lead you and this is what you'd like to continue in. This is how you'd like to proceed with your life. Make sure you can exemplify your education and any kind of work experience which benefits or which is, something that you have done before, maybe like volunteering or anything like that. Have a good solid 1-page or 2-page resume. Resume is a little passé. I would suggest that you have a LinkedIn profile, and that's very important. If you'd like a good example of LinkedIn profiles, take a look at mine. It's on linkedin.com/in/Wes Malik. The second thing you need is something we need to discuss over the next 5 minutes. And that is a demo. Before we move on, let me take a look if there are any comments or any questions you have. Okay, great, fantastic. We'll leave the session open to the end to your questions, and you can leave them as a comment below, and I'll check your comments and we'll answer your questions at the end of the masterclass. Getting back to the second tool you require in order to apply to become a DJ or an RJ. That is a demo. What is a demo? A demo is a demonstration of your abilities. How do you demonstrate your RJing abilities to someone? Well, you sit behind a microphone and you record your links of how you speak or what you speak, and you make an example of a small radio show. Ultimately, about 5 minutes long. Not more, less maybe. Between 3 to 5 minutes is a good standard rule. You don't want to waste your potential employer's time. They're not going to be spending an hour listening to your show. They'll want to know exactly what you sound like, what you have to say, how energetic you are, how clearly you can communicate, and how effectively you are communicating with your audience, and what you are communicating about. They want to know what's behind the voice as well, in your mind. This demo, tape, or digital file will help you explain those skills that you have to a potential employer. A demo will be 3 to 5 minutes long, and it will consist of 3 areas. Number 1 will be your opening. Number 2 and number 3 will be your content and your segues. Segue is how you link one topic to another, or how you progress from one topic to another, or how you progress from a song to your next topic. That is more important because that is what FM radio has come to mean in Pakistan. So let's consider a segue from music to your topic, or from your talk topic to music. And the last will be the closing. Now, in your opening part of your demo, you want to quickly explain who you are and what you're going to do and what your show is about. You could have many different interests. You might want to explain to a potential employer that I like to be a regular DJ and I just want to play music on the radio. So your demo is going to show that. You might want to have a sports talk show. For example, 3 days ago, somebody asked me, are there any openings in City FM 89 for sports announcers? We don't have any, but Maybe you'd like to become a sports announcer. So your demo will talk about sports, show about sports. Maybe you want to do movie reviews. Maybe you want to have a comedy show. Maybe you want to talk about problems. Maybe you want to talk about what's currently going on, like a current affairs show. Whatever the show or the design of the show that you have in mind, that's what you have to explain in your opening. Yourself, what you're going to talk about, and what the show is going to be about. This is exactly what good radio hosts and DJs do at the beginning of their show, and they tell the audience what they can expect. You have to set the expectation in the opening right away. Now, in radio, in the opening, you don't want to be rambling. As I said before, your whole demo needs to be between 3 and 5 minutes. So you can't spend 5 minutes explaining in the opening what the show is going to be about. You'll have to shorten it between 30 seconds to a minute and a half. Now, once that's done, you'll have to create some content or a segue. How do you create a segue or content? Let's start with the normal run-of-the-mill RJing, and that is segueing between music and the talk topic, and vice versa as well. So your opening will possibly go into a song. So you might want to introduce a song like, this is Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and here's the song coming up. Okay. Put a little bit of that song in your demo, maybe about 10 seconds. Put the ending song of the 10 seconds at the ending of the song, the last 10 seconds, and then come back, pretend to come back from that song. That was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, and today's Valentine's Day. We're talking about Valentine's Day. This is an example of how you segue. You have to create a segue. If you want a good example of a segue, listen to your radio. Listen to any radio, not my show, not City FM Medina, any kind of radio. Online, go online and listen to how DJs segue between music and the talk topic. Okay? Usually some people say, aaj ka topic hai. I find that very redundant. I find that very cliche. You might want to not do that. One tip I can give you is, don't tell people what you're going to do, just do it. Just jump right into it. For instance, oh my God, did you get a red rose today? It was Valentine's Day. Just say it. And then get into your segue, get into your content, and this is where you'll have to show your potential employer in your demo what ideas you have. For example, as a professional RJ, I've had to make demos even after 20 years. It's not now. It's now a long story. We'll share that with you later. But it was a demo that I created for. I sent it to my boss to convince them to have a radio show or a TV show called Pakistan Now. Now, the content or the idea, this is where you'll have to take a lot of time and do a lot of very fine writing and then present that content. The last part of your demo will now be the closing part of your demo. How do you finish off your demo? How do you say goodbye? How do you end or close your show and bring completion to your idea? Put that together digitally in an audio format in MP3. Make it a low quality between 128 kilobits and 320 kilobits. You can look these terms up on Google if you don't know what they are. Package the demo, name it with your name and demo, and put a year assigned to it, and then email it with 3 things to potential employers. How do you find the email addresses? I'll tell you once again. Go to radio stations' websites. Find the CEO, the programming director, the managing director, somebody in charge of hiring, the HR department, and then send them 3 things. 1, your resume. 2, attach a demo or a link to your demo online, like on SoundCloud. 3, a cover letter. And in your cover letter, you have to match it with your demo and say, hi, I would like to apply for any open positions. I've got a great idea. My idea is. And then explain your idea in the cover letter. A paragraph should do it. Your cover letter shouldn't be more than half a page. Sign it nicely with warm regards and send in your demo. And then pray to God you get hired. That's the way to enter the radio industry. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Let's take a look at if there are any questions. I'm going to just click on my own face here in my own video here and open this up and see if we have any questions. How do you, Zari Luke writes, how do you make people interested in... That's a very good question. How do you make people interested in what you have to say? Radio is storytelling. Master storytelling at its finest. You have to tell a story, an interesting one. Maybe something that happened to you. Maybe that's something happening around the world. You have to tease people. Okay, how do you... You have to cater to what they want to listen to, and not what... Something that's current, something that's happening. Some person you're talking to. That's how you make your story interesting, and that's how you seem interesting to people. It's very general and very vague advice, and you'll have to read it and you have to grasp what I'm saying. But think about it. These are the tips and tricks. So let's move on to another question. Omer Khan writes, over the course of all these years, how has your show preparation evolved from when you were new to now? Show preparation hasn't evolved much. The show preparation that I used to have 20 years ago is the same show preparation that I do today. And this is another topic that we're going to have on a masterclass, and I will teach you and I will show you how to do show prep for radio. In fact, the next episodes of the masterclasses will tell you how to segue properly, what to talk about, what skills and technical skills you require. We'll do some voice acting and voice lessons as well. This is a whole month-long campaign. But in answer to your question, show prep has not changed over the last 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. We get show prep from all around us, what affects us on a daily basis. We talk about on radio and television with what's going on in our lives. We read magazines, we read newspapers to find out what's going on in Pakistan, in the community, in the city, and at large and around the world. Now we use the internet to go on many different blogs, sites, and if you're an RJ or a DJ, I always am very current with what's happening with artists and music and who's coming out, what kind of songs. So we keep a close look on Facebook and we subscribe. So this is how it's changed. Now we subscribe to people individually rather than hear about them from someone else. Like for instance, I want to know about Ali Azmat, so I subscribe to his page so I know what exactly, where he's on tour. Like for example, I know that he's sitting with Salman Ahmed at the PSL watching PSL matches. Okay? So we follow people directly. We follow Twitter, Instagram, and that's how show preparation has changed. How do you, Zari Luke asks, how do you let the everyday ups and downs of life not break your spirit while doing the show? I'm not the best host. I'm not the best radio person, but I'm glad that you've asked me that question. You have to create a fine line in between your personal life and when you're broadcasting. You could be extremely upset one day, but you will have to not let that shine through. So my short answer would be professionalism. You have to treat your job professionally. You are an entertainer. You're an information giver or provider. Do your job. When you talk to people, do your job. Don't let your personal emotions get in the way of you doing your job. Does it? Yes, me all the time. I'm not the most perfect radio host or the best radio presenter there is. So I let it cloud my judgment every single day. You don't do it, okay? You can be better than me. Arbaz Ahmed, how do you take care of your voice? Okay, people do take care of their voice. There are DJs and RJs who are very specific about their voice. They stay away from like Pepsis and sodas. वो गले को वाकई खराब करती हैं. I personally stay away from cold water, and I stay away from people who have germs. I'm not making this up. I'm very serious with you. If my kids are sick, I don't shake their hands, and I try to stay away. And I don't want to get sick because it affects my job. It affects my livelihood. In fact, if I can't do a voiceover and I get sick and my voice becomes raspy or something, then I can't do the next Coca-Cola commercial, or I can't do the next Logitech commercial, or the next commercial. I'm going to lose money, right? So I stay away from sick people. I do. And if you are sick and you're up constantly and you shake I probably will say, hey man, ऐसे हाथ में अपना हाथ आगे रख दूंगा, shake my arm, and then I'll have some sanitizer. I'm very particular about that. Baki, taking care of your voice. If I feel that I have a throat spray, and I use honey a lot. It's the most natural antiseptic for your voice. I dissolve 1 teaspoon or 1 tablespoon of honey in lukewarm water and have that, and it's the best thing for my voice. And let's leave it at that. How many classes would there be in the week? There will be 2 classes a week. Which timings and which days? It will be hopefully on Thursdays and 1 day on the weekend. I'm going to try to do one on Saturday or Sunday if I can. There's no set timings, but I'll keep you updated through posts. Okay. Thank you very much. Let's see if there are any more questions. Just give me a sec, all right? All right, relax. Okay. Okay. So I don't think there are any more questions. So today in our masterclass, we have covered a little bit of what the skills you require if you need to go to school or not, and how to get your first job on radio. Let's recap real quick. First of all, see if there are openings. Go to rosie.pk, jobs.pk, go to job sites, go to LinkedIn, and see if there are any openings for any radio hosts. Okay? Secondly, go to the websites of these radios that you want to apply to, find somebody in charge, find contact information. Mostly an email address will be good. Third, you'll need to send them a resume. Have a very good resume. Have it on LinkedIn. Okay? Having a good LinkedIn profile is the best way to go. Secondly, have a good demo. Create a demo. You could either hire somebody to make a demo for you, or you could make a demo yourself. If you have to make a demo yourself, you'll need audio editing skills. That will be a topic we will cover in our next class. I've gone over what you require in your demo. 3 things, 3.5 things are required in your demo. Your opening. Second, content / segue. What is a segue? It is how you link your song to your content, or your talk topic, and your talk topic to the next song. That is called a segue. S-E-G-U-E, not S-E-G-W-A-Y. That is something you ride. It has 2 wheels. Different kind of segue. Third, the closing. Now, in your package, you will also have a cover letter, why you want to apply to this radio station, and what your idea is. People in radio are looking for the next great idea. What is your show going to be about? What are you a specialist in? Half a page, and hopefully you will be able to get the job you want in the radio broadcasting industry. This tip also goes for television as well. Okay? That is it for today's first masterclass in radio. Stay tuned for the next masterclass. Thank you very much for letting me talk to you today. I wish you the best of luck in your endeavors.